Welcome back to another episode of the Casey Campbell podcast. Casey Campbell with you, of course. Pleased to be joined by the head hockey coach at Houghton High School. That's of course up in the UP. That of course is Corey Markham. How's it going, man?
Good, going really good. Start off to a new year, so everything's lining up and doing good.
All right. So just talk about how you guys have been doing this year. I know you've had a couple visitors from the Lower Peninsula, and I know you're going to have one coming up here in a few weeks when Brighton comes to town. What's how? Just talk about how the season's been going so far, and your team's gotten a lot of big wins against some really good teams.
Yeah, we've had a tremendous start to the season. We've played 12 games and we're 12-0. We played some good teams in there. We went down to Marquette and beat Marquette early in the season. Heartland and De La Salle came up here in the middle of December, and we beat both those teams along with Traverse City Central. And then all the local teams that we've played, Calumet and Hancock. We've beaten both those teams a couple times. So it's just really been a tremendous start to the season.
So, and just kind of talk about some of the guys that you have returning for you, and some of the guys some of the guys that just have been doing well for you guys this year.
Yeah, we're really led by our four seniors. We only have four seniors on our team, and they are our absolute leaders. And our top line is my son Camden, Landon Stevens, and Gabber Carlson. They've been putting up like huge offensive numbers for us. They're right up there in the top of the state in scoring in both goals and total points. And those three are considered, if they're not the top line in state, they're right there in the battling for that moniker of being the top line. So they're really strong. And then our other senior, Sully Ryla, he centers our second line and has just been an absolute, just a workhorse and really strong player for us. So those guys are our leaders, and they've been the ones that have been taking care of the team and leading us for sure.
Yeah. Just you played some solid teams this year, and what is it just about this group that makes it so special?
Well, most of them are those seniors. Three of them are 4-year players, and then one of them is a third-year player. So they're mature. They've been around. Then they've worked hard in the weight room. They're all physically strong kids, and they have good skill sets, and they're just they want to make this a special season, and they're driven for that, and they've been doing a great job as being leaders.
Yeah. So just overall for many people that don't know and I think obviously the hockey community has learned a lot about the UP. There's some strong teams up there. What is it just like playing up in the Upper Peninsula?
So it's a lot of fun. Everyone has a ton of pride in their hometown team. The community rallies around each team. So for us, our big rivals locally are Hancock, which is just across the river here. They had a ton of past success, and they're always a strong program. And then obviously Calumet, who's known for their high school, all their athletic sports are very strong, but their hockey team's been very strong for years and years. So those two teams are big rivals, and each community just really supports their team and pulls for them and makes the rivalry so strong. And then you bring in Marquette, who's a bigger town in the UP, but all three of our teams again have great rivalry with them, and it's just I think a lot of it is just that pride in your hometown and getting the fans out, and that's a big part of it.
Of course, a lot of teams are also more teams are coming up to visit you. Brighton, Novi, Brother Rice, U of D Jesuit are some of the games that I know that are on your schedule. But just talk about some of the playing those teams and having those teams come up there. A pretty strong Brighton teams coming.
We are super fortunate to get these teams that want to make it up to the Copper Country here. Like, it's so good for our program. We're getting a lot of the top teams in the state. Brighton's one of powerhouse programs. For years and years, they've been one of the top teams in the state, and they've been making the trip up here. Boy, it's been a long time now. And, with the way it works out, we get to play them every other year because there's three teams involved. But, we have that one coming up here on January 6th, and that's going to be a huge test for us, playing a team of their caliber. And then the following weekend, we have Brother Rice and U of D Jesuit, which will be, again, two great tests for us. So, and then, later in the week or in the month, we have Salem coming up, and then Granville's coming up, and that's along with Saginaw Heritage had come up earlier in the year. So we're getting just some top end teams that are willing to come up and play in the Copper Country, and we couldn't be more happy with the situation.
Yeah. How do you think your guys are going to be? Because it's been a long time since you guys played a game. It's been a few weeks.
Yeah, so our last game was the 28th of December. So I gave them 4 days off around the new year, and we got back to practice on Monday the 2nd. So we get a week of practice before we play a game. So I think they'll be hungry to play. We had a major injury to one of our top defensemen over the holiday tournament, so he's going to be out for a while. And but Brighton, they actually have a longer layoff than we had. They haven't played since like December 17th, so
Yep.
they're a little bit with a longer delay in between games.
Yeah. And obviously with all the divisions getting shuffled around, D3's really is going to be a really competitive division, just like D2 and D1 are. What's it going to be like heading down there? Because of course you still have a lot of games left before we get to there. But what's Division 3 going to be like with all this reshuffling going around?
Yeah, so last few years, I I believe it's the D3 has had the most depth and the most teams that are capable of winning a state championship. It was really backloaded actually because of there's so many co-ops that pushed teams down into Division 3. And so it was to me it was the hardest division to actually win a state championship. There was they changed the rule this year where they split up the co-ops into three equal groups, um, for going by attendance. So I think that lessened the load a little bit in D3, but it's still super strong. Like, you got top end teams in Flint Powers and Orchard Lake St. Mary's. Those are just to name a few. Cranbrook's your perennial power. So a lot of these private schools that are super strong are in D3, and it's going to take Gabriel Shire is another up and coming private school. So it's going to take a great team effort. Who's ever comes out of the UP in order to represent us in USA Arena.
Yeah. And also, what do you want to see out of your team in these next few games that you have? Because, as I said, Brighton's coming to town, followed by Novi. You're going to see a lot of the KLAA teams, and of course, Brother Rice and Jesuit are coming too.
Yeah, we got to keep getting better. That you can't rest on your laurels. You can read the press. Like we got to our team defense, our whole defensive core, is inexperienced, and so that's something that we work on every day, and we got to continue to get better. Team defense, committing to being on the right side of the puck, so just some technical stuff that we have to get better at. That has to happen throughout the year. If you're not getting better all the time, you're losing ground. So we're concentrating on getting better in all areas, and hopefully we're able to be at our best when it counts in the playoff season.
Yeah. All right. Well, Corey Markham, thank you so much for coming on and talking with us, and best of luck. Best of luck the rest of the season.
All right. Thank you.